Hi there folks, welcome back to Richard Reviews. So in the latest of the films that didn't get a wide release in theaters, didn't make much money, or found its way on to the internet, the latest of these films, and this comes from Hulu, and it's the latest from Joe Carnahan, and it's been at least 7 years since Carnahan made a film, and let me confess that I happen to like his film The A-Team a whole lot. I'm also a fan of The Grey, which I think happens to be the best of the early in the year Liam Neeson films. And I'm not a big fan of Smoking Aces, but who is a fan of Smoking Aces? And he's back with Frank Grillo, of all people. And this is my first real exposure to Frank Grillo outside of, say, a Marvel film, and obviously that Cosmic Sin film that I just utterly abhor. This film obviously opens with some old-time, video game music, or 8-bit visuals beforehand. Now, I've heard that this film has been in development for a better part of the last 8 years. At one point, it was being permanently shelved. Eventually, it made its way to another studio, and then obviously the pandemic hit, and then obviously it went to Hulu. Now, apparently this film had a world premiere somewhere late last year, and then made the rounds at several film festivals, and now, obviously, as I said, Hulu picked this film up. So basically, Boss Level apparently is like that video game that you constantly keep playing and keep dying time after time after time again. As we see in the beginning of the film, Frank Grillo is in the middle of it. He plays Roy, a special forces soldier who's a workaholic. He has an ex-wife, played by Naomi Watts, in a relatively thankless role, and she is developing something called Osiris, and what exactly this MacGuffin Osiris is, we learn late in the film. She has a boss in the vein of, Mel Gibson, and basically Mel Gibson gets to chew the scenery and eat it too, and he has one very funny line when the Frank Grillo character eventually meets up and tries to defeat, the Mel Gibson character on multiple occasions. Now, last year I happened to see Groundhog Day at the Alamo Drafthouse Cinema, and unlike, say, that film where Bill Murray becomes a better person in the process, Frank Grillo gets to become good at killing people over and over again and learning the mechanics of how you do this. Several different henchmen that he gets dispatched along the way constantly. At least at one point he gets to meet up with Michelle Yeoh and he gets to learn how to sword fight. At least at one point, Frank Grillo goes up against this other female swordsman lady, and he basically says, that one scene in Raiders of the Lost Ark? Her response later on is quite good. Now, this film to me is good as long as you don't think very hard about the film that you're watching. Also, Frank Grillo has a son in this film, and he's actually played by Frank Grillo's actual son. And apparently Rob Gronkowski's in this. I don't really know who he is, and nor could I pick him out if I saw him again. At least in one scene, Frank Grillo and his kid play down and actually play Street Fighter. Hopefully no executive watching this film gets the bright idea of, oh yeah, let's remake Street Fighter with, Frank Grillo, because they twice had a bite of that apple, and both films utterly suck. Although if you are a big fan of Jean-Claude Van Damme, watch that first Street Fighter film. There are some very funny moments, but the problem here is this film has endless, and I mean endless, voiceover dialogue, and maybe that's just how the script was at. And then, of course, the kills are fine. I can't complain about the kills. Let me confess also that I'm not a video gamer. I liked, my Game Boy back in the day. I had a PlayStation for a little bit, but that was the extent of my video gaming expertise. So in the end, folks, what I'm going to say about Boss Level, amazingly enough, I'm going to give this a matinee rating because, quite frankly, I was having such a good time with myself, even though MacGuffin is a letdown. So, folks, Boss Level, have you seen this? What did you think? Please put everything in the comment box below here, folks. As always, folks, like, comment, subscribe, rid yourself of knowledge. I'll see you next time, folks. Yes, hooray.